So I'm Phil, and we've been here in Vietnam for the last 3 years, and we've really enjoyed our time. It's a good spot. You certainly get involved with your local culture, and it's got lots of things happening. So its name on the airport is Saigon, whereas Ho Chi Minh is its common name. If you want a winter, don't come to Ho Chi Minh City. Because it's warm most of the year round. You get a slightly cool over Christmas, but it's a beautiful climate in that sense. It rains during the July through to November, and it's common to have a rain for about an hour or two in the afternoons, which just cools everything down, gets rid of the dust, and does those sorts of things. But on the whole, the weather's pretty nice. We do have some high pollution at some times of the year, particularly October through to late January, and when Tet comes, the pollution tends to move away. Tet is our national holiday period, which runs concurrently with Chinese New Year and Vietnamese New Year, so tend to have lots of people moving around. The people are very friendly. It's a culture that welcomes people in. If you practice a little bit of Vietnamese, you'll be reciprocated with a little bit of English in a nice way. So it's an easy place to be. The food is amazing. It's one of my highlights for being in Vietnam. You can get pretty much anything, but the Vietnamese food is fresh, it's beautifully presented, but it's also beautiful to eat. And they use lots of different flavours in their foods. And doing a couple of cooking courses is well worth it in Ho Chi Minh. It's a good spot to be. You do have the ability to save some money here, which I think is really nice. It's not the most expensive city, and most of the schools don't have the largest packages, but the reason they don't have the largest packages is the fact that you can save money because the cost of living is low. You can go and live the high life if you wish, but you can also live very reasonably and save some money and send it home. You need to make sure that you have some US dollars because you want to be able to transfer that back to your home country. A hard currency is better than the Vietnamese dong. Vietnamese dong, however, is a fixed currency, so therefore it doesn't fluctuate as much as some of the floating currencies. So it moves about half a dong a year, if that. So it's pretty consistent in that sense. Most of your money goes on rent. Food is very cheap. Most people eat out, particularly if you're a young couple or a single. It's generally cheaper to eat the restaurant food or street food. And the street food is very edible. Most people have a fairly good constitution, so they don't have to worry about the food that they eat. But it's good, and there's great medical facilities here. And if you desperately, if something goes extremely wrong, you're very close to Bangkok and Singapore if you need to, and most schools' insurance will cover that. Plenty of opportunities to travel. Vietnam is a beautiful country. You can go north and you can hit some beautiful rainforests and jungle areas, but there's also beautiful beaches, and that can be both north and south. You can head down to the Mekong and see traditional Vietnamese living, and you can also go across to Phu Quoc and places on the beach. Hoi An is gorgeous. It's a beautiful old city, and it has plenty of opportunities for people to see traditional Vietnamese culture, but also to get out onto mountain bikes into the rice paddies and up into the some of the old temples that are up and around that. If you want to travel up to Sapa and up past Hanoi, you've got plenty of beautiful mountains up onto the Chinese border, or you can head to Ha Long Bay as well. So there's opportunities to travel. It's very cheap. There are low-cost airlines that you can get up and around the country pretty quick and easy. Accommodation, most people in Ho Chi Minh live in apartments. It's very rare that expat teachers will live in houses. Most of them will live in apartments. We're lucky in District 2 at the moment that there's been plenty of building of apartments, the same in District 7, which are the two main regions for international schools. Getting around, very few people own a car. Might sound strange, but reality is that taxis are cheap. Most people ride a motorbike, and make sure you're insured and that your medical insurance covers any accidents you might happen. But getting around, most of the traffic is is relatively slow, so therefore it flows. It's quite different to a lot of the other large cities in Southeast Asia, where you'll have massive traffic jams. And the reason is, most of the Vietnamese do not own cars because they're too expensive, and most of them haven't driven cars all their life because this city grew up on bicycles, then motorbikes, and now there is the advent of cars, and we're hoping that that doesn't happen too quickly. There is a new SkyTrain coming into Ho Chi Minh City, which we hope will release some of the traffic congestion in the mornings, particularly with the motorbikes. But on the whole, most people find it easy to get around. You can get Grab motorbikes, Grab cars, and they're relatively cheap. You can also walk, and in District 2 and 7 you can ride your push bikes. It's very safe to do that.